Hey everybody, I'm Chris Therien, aka Bundy, and you are watching Nasty Knuckles.
You're listening to Nasty Knuckles, the Hockey Outlaws podcast, with your hosts, Derek Nasty Sotomayor and former Philadelphia Flyer enforcer Riley Cote, as they go behind the scenes with your favorite NHL players. Time to face off.
All right, welcome back. What's happening, Nasty?
Well, what's up, Regarelia?
Looking good, all black.
Oh, fuck,
Blues.
you know, Johnny Cash, bro.
I like it.
Johnny Cash, except for my glasses. I forgot to change them. I'll change them once our guest gets here. But
Fresh threads.
how was your weekend?
Pretty solid. Busy?
Yeah. Busy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always busy, you know.
Yeah, too busy for your men's league team,
Well,
eh?
I'll be there Sunday.
Yeah, you say that. No one's holding their breath.
Well, I guess not. I mean,
5:30 game and you can't make it.
I said after last game, I'll see you in 2025.
Yeah, well, this Sunday is not 2025.
No, I know. That's what I mean. So it'd be a bonus.
I sent Baller a video walking out for my men's league game, and Sudsy strikes again. He's got a sign, couple signs, but he's got one taped on the glass as soon as I walked out of the locker room. And I think what did it say, Baller? Hang him up 44 or something.
Badminton racket?
Badminton racket. Yeah. So
It's creative. Give him that.
oh yeah. So of course everyone loves that. And then I actually got lucky and scored a goal. And
Point to him?
I waved to him once I got, because I looked up and he's going like this. Oh my God, he scored. So I gave him a wave and he was like, yeah. I'm like, oh, now I'm okay. No, but it was fun. We won the game.
There you go.
Despite you not being
So you don't need me.
Well, we do.
Bring me in for reinforcements.
Yeah. Guys are getting a little edgy out there. We could.
Yeah. You guys handled your own. You got...
Yeah,
Big
Fox,
Rob back
the
there.
Foxtrot,
Foxy, yeah,
Fox
exactly.
Daddy, Rob. They was, Rocker throwing a couple cross checks.
Oh, yeah,
out.
a little, probably lower hip.
Yeah, a little
cross
lower
checks,
hip. Boom.
He likes those.
He likes those. But anyway, miss you. Hopefully you will be here or be there
Yeah,
Sunday.
that's the plan.
How'd the girls' softball games go?
Always strong.
Good.
Yeah, it's good experiences. Yeah.
3 for 4, both of them.
Something like
on
that,
the plate
yeah,
from the
yeah.
plate. Yeah.
They're now pitching this year.
Yeah, the girls are pitching.
Yeah, I mean they're receiving pitches and the girls are actually pitching.
Oh,
so
that's awesome. That's
a
awesome.
little different from the last couple of years. It's pretty early too. I thought.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's fairly early for.
Yeah, but
girls,
that's the way they do it, right?
but-
It's just get uncomfortable, learning a new skill, and
Yeah.
it takes a little longer. These games will take longer because, like, if you don't hit off the pitch, then
Yeah.
then the coach comes in and pitches.
Oh, that's how they do it.
So
What
each-
do they give the kids a few pitches? And if you
Yeah,
don't,
they give them the full count, and then
okay.
and then if they, well, let's just say if they can't throw a strike, then the coach will step in, but then they'll give them the full count. And,
they seem fairly young to be having a pitch.
I know.
would
Seeing
think-
Kaya, it's the
like
windmill.
that, right?
Yeah,
it's the
right.
windmill. Like, do they start? I mean, like, I
guess so.
I
I
guess
was-
some do, right?
Not really familiar with it until now. So, but
I know Dave Merrow, his daughter pitches a bit, and she's older. She's
Mm-hmm.
older than Elvie. I think she's 12. I apologize if I'm wrong. But I think she's 12. But I know she plays travel. She's a really good player.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, we won.
it's great.
Girls won. Did they win, or did
We
they
won.
not really keep? Oh, they did. That's good. Mm-hmm. You know what's coming up?
Been pumped for this for the last
For
48 hours.
48 hours.
It's been on the
since
books.
you threw it together. Big tailgate this Saturday for the Flyers home opener. I hope everyone that's going can stop by and say hello. We'll be there setting up around 3:30. I guess by 4 we'll be rocking and rolling. Mm-hmm. Our good friend Joe DiBiagio, for fans of Philly, going to be there. Maybe we'll see Paige.
Yeah, maybe
That would be nice. Paige, we haven't seen you in a while.
She got some other priorities
She
now.
has another priority. She's got 2 babies she's got to take care
two
of.
priorities.
Right?
Yep.
That's counting Joe.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And our good friends Klyr Rum make a little drop off
We'll drop off.
for some people to try, because that'll be gone in 10 minutes. I know you won't try it. But actually, you've sipped
I'll
it.
observe you.
Yeah,
you
you can
see
observe what
you
happens
enjoying it and
to
see
me.
how you hydrate and, then
And dehydrate.
dehydrate at the same time.
Yeah, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Like I said, it's in Lot G. Just so we are clear on that, we're going to set up in Lot G. And you got a buddy coming.
I got a buddy coming. Yeah, Romeo.
Throw down some beats.
Yeah, bring a little percussion. Do you remember Romeo from back in the day?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
I mean, he's still giving her, and
He's still
he's
giving
out
it.
there and just doing his thing. So I hit him up the other day, and he was available and willing. So
nice. I know Baller's bringing the mic and gonna spit some. Spit some
this might
lyrics.
Be a legendary
it's
tailgate.
Gonna be crazy. Baller, just be ready. I know that
No
last
jumping
one.
off tables this time around.
We're slipping off.
Slipping off.
You should throw that up there, Baller. Don't ever forget. That was great. The whole thing was great until he slipped. Like, it was like he had everybody ready. It was like Jimmy Snuka coming off the top ropes, and then he slipped. And then it looked like Dusty Rhodes coming off the top rope. I love Dusty Rhodes, by the way. God rest his soul. He was the man, but I don't think he ever got up on the turnbuckle and came down. But
it was a challenging jump.
Yeah,
it was a tough one.
But Baller looked good.
Yeah.
Didn't matter. It finished all right. We'll redo that one at some point, Baller.
Let's get some new footage.
He was a little overserved.
Yeah,
I will say it was not his fault.
And the weather was just a little chilly.
It was actually awful. It was so cold.
Might have been the coldest I've ever been.
I saw. I was going through my memories and from the tailgate this year when we did that with fans of Philly, and me and the Howl Dog Howie doing a shot, and it was not a small one. And he downed it.
Yeah.
I think he finished it before me. Maybe it looked like an amateur. But everybody danced. I could see Baller in the background because we lost Baller for about an hour and a half. Everybody's like, where the fuck Baller go? I don't think he knows.
Then we saw him jumping off tables. It was at a jumping table station.
Well, we saw him jump through a table, and then we lost him.
Oh, that was before. Okay.
Yeah, that was before. No, I'm just kidding. It may have been after. But anyway, big tailgate, Nasty Knuckles tailgate, Lot G, 4 o'clock, baby. Build up.
Yeah, Flyers home opener. I'm
Flyers,
super pumped.
More important, Flyers home opener, but Matvei's will get a first in-person look.
Yeah.
First in an NHL, true NHL game, which he's looked pretty good, but we'll get into that with our guest today. Another thing I want to bring up, Riggs, the Philadelphia Warriors are really good friends. Friday, November 15th. You know where it is, right? Sorry about my picture there.
A little excited.
Friday, November 15th at the Battleship, New Jersey.
Oh, yeah.
The
I was
gala.
there last year.
I know.
Amazing.
The gala. They have a special guest, which they may be thinking that's you. I'm not sure. But DJ Hollywood's going to be in the house.
Yeah.
So you're going to be cutting a rug. You're going to have a silent auction, 50-50, military ceremony. All proceeds will benefit the Flyers Warriors. The tickets are $125 for your table. They're $1,500. That's VIP. $1,500 for the VIP table, and it's a black tie optional military dress uniform. I think you're going to go with the black tie. Are you going to trim it up? I mean, can you
probably won't trim it up?
You got to clean up.
I dressed up pretty nicely last year.
Yeah, you always look good when you dress up, except for the
spot on. These guys
I think,
all decked out.
You know, you're going to a military event. I think it's time you take it down. You trim it.
They don't allow beards in the military?
They do not. No. They're like the Yankees. You can't.
Just can't have it.
The Yankees are buying us, so you're going to have to shave. And not take the Johnny Damon look out with the hair.
Lou doesn't love beards either.
Lou doesn't. Devils are half owner. I mean, the Islanders are half owners too.
That's right.
Of us.
So no beards.
I just got a horn with him.
All right.
Lou said tell Riggs he's got to go.
All the way down?
Yeah. Well, just at least, like you used to keep it.
All right.
Okay.
We'll talk.
He said it, Baller.
So we'll talk.
I'm just kidding. But anyway, don't forget Friday, November 15th, our great friends, the Philadelphia Warriors. It's going to be a fun time.
Yeah, it was a great time last year, so
can't wait.
Looking forward to this one again. They do it up really nice.
Yeah, it's awesome. Great guys, man.
Yeah,
so happy we met them and how big they've grown. It's Brad Marsh done an unbelievable job. Rob Bear, the Duff Daddy. Bill Duff, man, he does so much work behind the scenes. People, he's not just the goalie, man. This guy's doing everything.
It's a lot of work, man.
It's a lot of work.
4 teams and
it's crazy. It's crazy. Our
players
good friend
and
Kobe
families
Cohen's
right.
involved.
Kobe.
And Jeff Frankel as well is over there helping with skills. It's a lot of fun, and they have some good teams now. Like they just keep adding, like you said, four teams, probably close to getting to be five. I mean, they have so many guys. I was over at training camp, weeks ago when we talked about that, but really cool to see. Just love those guys. Yeah. Really good people.
Yeah, me too. Looking forward to it. All right, Nast, you ready?
I'm ready.
176
with our boy
Chris Therien,
the dog
4.0.
He's been here a few times.
Well, we love having him on.
Yes,
getting inside scoops. He's always got a good pulse on what's going on.
Sure does.
All right, here we go. Welcome back. I'm Riley Cote.
And I'm Derek Suttelmeyer. And this week, Riggs, we
back.
got a friend of the show, 4.0, veteran of 764 NHL games. Only 11 of those were played in a different uniform.
Yeah.
Crazy. Co-host of Snow The Goalie podcast. And he's got his hands in everything.
Yeah.
But please welcome to the show, Mr. Chris Therien, Bundy. I call him Dog. What's up, Dog?
What's up, Dog? You know what? Yeah, we started that a long time ago, huh?
Yeah.
And it's always great being on with you guys. Love both of you. I mean, right, both teammates of mine for a few years, and you guys got a great show. So without any further ado, let's get rocking and roll.
Let's get going.
Thanks
for
for
the
coming
hot
on.
seat.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about what's going on outside of hockey first before we get going, because I know you're doing a lot of great things.
Yeah, you know what? First of all, I know when I first came on, guys, one of your first guests when I came up with my story, about recovery, and as I sit here now with 13 and a half years of sobriety, still continued sobriety. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I decided really, my life has changed and since I met you, and I'd lost my job with the Flyers in 2020 from NBC and from the Flyers doing work, and I decided to do and to use my platform to help others. I shared my story about my own recovery from alcohol use disorder, and what that meant to me, what it looked like to my kids, my family, my friends, and what recovery looked like. So I decided to share that story openly and proudly, and I haven't stopped. And it's almost like growing a business in a sense where you think immediately things are going to pop and happen. And I wasn't doing it for a business. I was doing it because I really wanted to message and let people know, like, hey, there's hope out there. Like, I had a real shitty experience, and addiction is something I look back at and it scares me, and it probably traumatized me a great deal of my own drinking. But
Sure.
I want people to know, like, it's okay. If you have a problem, you can come out the other side of it. You can lead a perfectly normal life. You don't lose any brain function if you do it at the right time. But you know what? I feel truly blessed. And I say I do it with a little bit of a smirk and a grin sometimes because I have to, because some of the insanity that I lived through was crazy. And sometimes I have no choice because luckily I didn't hurt anybody. Yeah. I didn't kill myself or anyone else. I did damage, but it was repairable damage. And the greatest repair that I've had is between that and my kids, to be able to be a dad. So, my daughter's getting married next year, Isabella. Her boyfriend is the starting right guard for the Indianapolis Colts. He broke his leg 2 weeks ago.
Oh, no, I didn't see that.
Yeah, it was a tibia break, a tibia. So he, modern medicine is amazing, but he's going to work to hopefully get back possibly by the end of the year.
Nice.
And and he was like, just an unbelievable story for him. A 7th round draft pick. And just determined to work. Played at Penn State for 4 years, and he was ranked in the top 5 of all linemen in the league going into this year and finishing last year. So he has a great future ahead of him. It sucks to see a break, but she's getting married. My daughter Ava, my second one, she finished college, and Alexa is my last basketball player in the family. She was just named to the as the Patriot League preseason player of the year at Loyola.
Wow.
And I think that their team, for the first time since any of my daughters have played there, were picked to win the league. So we'll see what happens. You have to play out the games. And Christopher, is the last the last athlete. He's a senior at Cherokee. He's having a great year. He's a offensive tackle, and he just committed after getting almost 20 offers. He just committed to go play at Villanova.
Yeah, I saw that. Congrats!
Yeah,
I
on a
did.
full football scholarship.
I messaged him on his Instagram.
Did you? Yeah,
I saw that.
He's a great kid. And,
he is a big boy.
He's a big kid. And I got to remember
cow.
too, like when I see a kid, we'll talk about, I'm sure, but like a Jett Luchanko.
Yeah.
It's just 5 months older than Chris.
It's crazy.
Right. And here he is on the bench, and I'm thinking to myself, geez, maybe if a kid ever needs a buddy, there's Chris is here going to college next year. But to give you, it shows you that there's different levels of how sports goes, and Luchanko, here's a kid that's 18 and just turns. Yeah. And here he is playing in NHL. And then I got a son who's gone through a football recruiting process where his position would never allow him even to play at an Oklahoma or an Alabama.
Right.
as an 18-year-old freshman at that position because he's not strong enough yet.
Right.
So it's amazing how different correlations work with sports, but very proud of my kids. And when I look at my recovery guys, that's the ultimate win for me, is to have seen them have success. And not because they're good athletes, but because they were allowed to spread their wings without having to deal with a father that had an addiction issue or a parent. So that's my great win in life, and it always will be, and I couldn't be more proud of them if I tried.
Yeah, that's great, man.
It's amazing. The athletes you've spit out, big boy. They're all.
I'm blessed.
It's unbelievable.
And their mom's
man.
been great too. Like she played basketball here too, but it was important for them. But I never say it's me. Takes two to make it happen. And but they're great kids. And what I love is you put them in a room like this, they can sit down and have a conversation with anybody. It's not just about sports, it's about being human beings and people. And like I said, that's my win, and I'm really proud.
Yeah, you should be, man, because that's big.
Sure.
I mean, how many guys that have faced their demons and never come out on the other side, right? Or not face their demons, right? And it's
that's the sad
unfortunately
thing.
More sad stories than good ones. So keep shining your light there and telling your story, because I think being vulnerable is a superpower, and you've proven that.
It is, and I always think just being honest and being transparent with people. Like I hide nothing about what happened with my life. I got here as a kid. I developed over many years an affinity for alcohol, and it became a problem. I had to get out of it. I work at my centers now. I'm in there and I'm working diligently, always trying to get people to agree to go to treatment. That's what I always say. When we call, I'm at Pennsylvania Recovery Center or Bundy Recovery. If you message me on there, what I tell people all the time is the most courage you're going to need is to say, hey, I have a problem.
Yeah.
And I always tell them, we'll handle the rest. If you need detox, if you need to go away, if you need aftercare, if you just need maybe a whack to say, hey, you need to go to AA. You need to clean up your act. That's what we'll assess, and then we'll be able to make that determination for the person and try to make their journey to recovery as easy as possible.
If there's any advice you could give to somebody that may be on the verge of opening up and asking for help, like just helping someone kind of come over the edge there a little bit, like what would that be? Because I know a lot of people go through it and they think they can manage it on their own, and it gets hairy, and then it usually lands up being something really negative that happens, destructive, and then all of a sudden they snap out of it and they ask for help. Is there any advice you could give to somebody that may be right at that cusp, but just needing to get that push?
It's a great question, Riley. And again, sometimes, as we know in life, right, like nobody does anything about their own issues until you hit a rock bottom. Right? Because if it's not a problem and no one's addressing it and you're not addressing it, then it's not really a problem.
Right.
It's a problem when it rears its head as a problem, and believe me, drugs and alcohol will always. So I always tell people, like, if you don't want the help right now, there probably will be a time when you will. But there's an understanding, like there's a process. Unfortunately, you have to go through it, because you see somebody struggling, you want them to stop right away, but you have to also understand that sometimes there's a process that's involved, and unfortunately, in that process, sometimes it doesn't always work out.
That's right.
So that's why I tell people, my attitude for me is, someone says, what keeps you from going back out again? Well, experience. I remember where I was, remember how much I did not like myself being that person. And then I look at the positives that I have in my life and say, like, that's all worth it. Because I don't have those great relationships if I'm still out drinking the way I was. So it's a double-edged sword in many ways, because you have to let that person have an understanding that, I need help, but I might not be ready yet. But at the same time, if you don't, what problems are you going to cause in the process of that?
Yeah, right, exactly. Because what I've learned is that you can't force anybody to do anything. If they're not ready, they're not ready. But in due time, and if you at least plant the seed and the resources are there, like whenever that time is, you're there for them.
Yeah, 100% right.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Good stuff.
Well,
guys.
appreciate you and what you're doing there. That's important
it's
work.
awesome,
It's my day job.
Exactly.
For sure.
Yeah, and it's the most important job I've ever had.
Yeah.
So
it's awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Well, let's jump into the Flyers here for a minute.
Yeah.
Their start. Let's see. I know it's we're only 3 games in. 1-1-1. What are your thoughts so far?
Yeah, kind of a mixed bag. I think there's been times they've really looked good. I think the Vancouver games, you want to go through the 3 games. I thought the Vancouver game, they showed a little bit of who they were last year. Resilient, came back, didn't stop, easily could have packed it in, maybe at a couple points of that game, but they used a good third period in the shootout. I mean, shootout's been a little better in the last couple of years, so they get a win there. And then you had the Calgary, where Calgary is one of those kind of gnat teams, right? Like like a gnat. They're always on you, and they always get like they almost feel like they have 4 lines that are all the same.
Yeah.
And they just keep coming at you, forecheck, and they get in that building where everyone's over you.
Yeah,
right.
Flyers are in a back-to-back situation, and that didn't work out. They got peppered kind of late, and it looked like they were tired. And then the Edmonton game was probably the most frustrating. They get a 2-0 lead.
Yeah.
Edmonton in the first period, like they look like they're disconnected right
Oh,
now.
crumbling, yeah.
Ever. Did they ever, man.
And I think that's guys losing like just 3 months ago in Game 7 in South Florida.
Yeah.
And that's why the league, to me, looking at it, gave them a 4-game homestand.
Yeah.
To say, hey, we're going to try to keep the Oilers at home to give them more rest.
Yeah.
Because it does make a difference. You know, when you give someone 10 or 12 more days to play a home set, you get a little bit of rest. Because it's a lot when you're going back and forth Florida to Edmonton just a few months earlier. This recovery. That game frustrated me because what happened was I watched Edmonton get better as the game went on. And if you're like, I really think that that's a game like the Flyers could have shit-kicked that team.
Yeah.
Like they looked like they were down, they were out, and then they gradually got better. And then all of a sudden the star power came back.
Yeah.
Whenever Edmonton plays next, you may want to keep an eye on like the McDavid-Draisaitl combo of points in a game because that's the kind of game that gets guys going. And so from that was a frustrating game. The one thing when I look at it, we were talking about it on Snow the Goalie the other day, Anthony had brought it up, the one thing that really concerns me, if there's anything, and it's repairable at this point, way too many even strength goals against.
9-3.
9-3. Like that's not good.
No.
That's not good. And again, like what is it? Is it the forwards in the checking? Is it defense? I still think defensemen, if they're there, they need to step up and figure out who's the number one pair is. The number one pair doesn't have to be an offensive pair. It has to be a shutdown pair.
Yeah, right.
You know, and that's like someone could say, well, I had the luxury of playing with Desjardins. I did. But we shut down guys every single night.
You
that was
had
our
to
job.
do your job, though. It's not like, you can't just. It's not. You did your job, and you were able to play with him.
You have to be able to play in a top pair as a number 2 guy, and I think sometimes for the Flyers, I believe the talent is there, but I don't know if the mental mechanics are there yet to be able to say, hey, they're going to put Sanheim and York against those guys. They can't come out of a game -3.
That's right.
You just can't. If you want your team to win, that has to improve. And so that's the only concern I see early in the year. There's been a lot of positives. We mentioned Luchanko.
Yeah.
I think it's a great story. I still think he's too young. I still think he needs another year junior and go to the World Juniors to dominate, and I still think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I was going to ask you.
No matter how well he plays. Hey?
I don't think it matters.
Yeah,
I mean, this again, to me, like it feels like just having loose communications with Danny about that, talking about our own kids, like even saying like Chris, like it's amazing to see that age gap.
Yeah.
My own son saying like with a kid that's the same age, and I got the sense that Torts kind of wanted him here and wanted an extra look and made that decision for them.
Yeah.
And I really got a sense talking to Danny that, and Danny's word to word for me was, my concern for Jett Luchanko is 5 years from now, not 5 weeks from now.
Right.
And so that was kind of telling. And that was outside the meeting, like by the elevators as we were wrapping it up. And so if that gives anybody like a sense, I think that's the right thing, guys.
Yeah.
It is. Like you could say, you could get really, it's easy to say, oh, I'm going to have this kid here. I love him. Look at the energy he brings. Yeah, but what about at game 35?
Yeah.
Where he's gassed and he's chasing the schedule and you can't put him in the lineup anymore because he looks out of place. And that will happen.
Right.
If that's the path they choose to go on, but they're not.
Right.
They're not.
Yeah, we talked about this. I think no matter how well he plays in these 9 games, I think it's probably already decided. And to your point, rightfully so. I think, another year in juniors, dominate, get the reps.
World Juniors.
Win, whatever.
Do you like that 9-game, guys? I don't. I mean,
USA.
I was, it's different thoughts. And I'll ask you guys this. You've both been around a long time and around the game. And I was thinking to myself, the 9 games seems like it's a gift to a player. Super excited. But there's also got to be a drop-off, too. Yeah. When you get the 9 and then they send you back to junior and you're like, man, I was just like checking Connor McDavid.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
And I remember even like myself, I made the Flyers in '94 and there was a lockout.
Yep.
And I got sent to the minors. I stunk the first month in the minors. Like I was awful.
Yeah.
Because I had my head set on being here,
game,
wishing the lockout hadn't ended.
Right.
Yeah. Or hadn't started. And so I felt like I got deprived and I was ticked off and I was angry at everybody. But eventually I came around and said, you got to play. You just got to go play.
And that's all you can do.
Yeah.
And I think that's natural, however that looks, right? You're going to be disappointed. I think that's only human nature.
I totally agree.
Just got to bounce back.
I remember, Dog, because that was our first year when we met, and I came here from Florida. We had like you said, we only had the half season, but I remember being at the rink every day, and Keith Acton was an assistant coach, and they kept sending Woody down. His nickname's Woody. They kept sending Woody down to play games with you guys.
For us.
And I'm like, what the fuck is going on right now? And then he would come back after the weekend, and I was like, how'd it go? And he'd be like, I stirred up a little bit of shit.
He started a fucking brawl every night. Yeah.
He's sticking guy. He played. Fuck, he was wild.
Yeah, he used to start more line brawls down the minors. And he already was an established NHLer,
Yeah,
right?
right.
And he just wanted to come down and help guys grow a little bit. And,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even think he played weekday games. I think he only played.
His game on the
I
weekend.
think he just played in the weekend.
Oh man, but yeah,
weekend
he
warrior.
popped in my head when you were talking about having to go down there with.
I remember that. Yeah, it's a funny story. It's something you wouldn't see now.
Right.
But like then it was like it didn't. I never.
He was like Reg Dunlop almost.
He was like right. If we need to get him like a leather suit, he would have been fine.
Oh man, thoughts on Matvei? Everybody. I mean, obviously it's a big story around the league and everything.
Wicked talent, right? He's a small space operator, if I can call that, from what I've seen.
Right.
Amazingly, and I don't say this with disrespect because he'll evolve his game in different ways. He's not a fleet of feet. Like, he is not like a world-class skater. So if you're thinking you're going to come Saturday night to the home opener and see a Connor McDavid type of speed, forget about that.
Right.
You're not. But I think you got a pretty good sample the other night in Edmonton of what he can do. That play around the net. I mean, it takes a lot of skill to do that, and to stay diligent, the hand-eye coordination, the resiliency to battle for that loose puck. And it's the one where he pushed it around the post on Skinner. And then the other one was just a pure goal scorer's goal.
Yeah,
you know, like the one-timer where you
find
an opening, make it confusing for the goalie. Kind of like look like he shot it right at him. But that sometimes can screw a goalie up in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But no, he's got a unique skill set, and certainly somebody that's going to elevate the power play. Mm-hmm. There's no doubt about that.
Because they needed help there, obviously. I mean, that's an understatement. But.
Yeah, no, but exciting. You know, I think I had somebody the other day, and I tell people to kind of table this a little bit. Like, guys, like, I got a text. It was from a 23-year-old kid. I mean, one of my friends and my kids. They're like, we finally got our Wayne Gretzky cornerstone player. And I'm like, yo, dude, just calm down.
Take a breath.
Just calm down a little bit, you know, like, and that's okay. I'm excited.
Yeah.
But let's take a deep breath here, and let's just let the kid get into his career and learn the league, see the tendencies that he knows, feel out the teams that he's had success against, know what other players do.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have an understanding of who the player is, you know?
Yeah. Right.
And so I try to be fair, and really to a guy like that coming up, there's a lot of hype.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people talking about like that. I hate references like that because it's not fair to the player. Right. He's going to be Matvei Michkov. He's not going to be Gretzky 2.0.
That's right.
I'm sorry, he's just not.
Yeah.
But do you like overall what you see is like his
sure.
hunger around the net, obviously? I mean,
seems like a good teammate,
good
hungry
teammate.
around the net, excited when he scores goals.
Yeah, exactly.
He's dealing with a lot. Like, the language still isn't there.
Right.
A new country, a new everything. You know, and all he's asked to be right now is just a human being and a hockey player in a different language and a new culture. And I think so far he's done a great job.
Yeah.
I don't know anything else about him. You know, he's an enigma in a lot of ways because he's hard to meet. Like, you can't bring him in here and just shoot the shit for 20 minutes to get to know a lot about it because he's not there yet.
Yeah.
Right.
But as a hockey player, it was certainly a breath of fresh air to see his determination down low. He looks like a guy the players like.
Yeah.
And that's important.
Yeah,
you know?
it is. Oh, yeah.
You know, there's guys there's been other stars and guys that have been goal scorers or players in the league where sometimes, you know, team will take them or leave them, you know, and that happens a lot. So I think he's got a real bright future, obviously, and I'm looking forward to watching him grow and develop.
Yeah, us too.
It's exciting. I mean, it's first time in a while we've had this much excitement on it for a young kid. I mean, I said last week, probably going back to Eric Lindros. I mean,
Ghost, when he came in for those 15 games, as at the height of it, like we started to get to the 7, 8, and 9 games,
it felt like he scored every game.
That was crazy. So I mean, you're not going to see any more hype than that. I mean, if you look around the league, like, you're not going to get any more hype than the league gave Connor Bedard last year.
Right.
It's going to be the same sentiment. And every year there's new rookies and see how it goes. So, but I thought the game last night was his best game.
Yeah.
I thought The other game against Calgary probably wasn't his best. But again, you're going to have nights like that where he's trying to feel stuff out.
That's what, like you
and,
said.
and I'm not going to judge a kid every single night by how he plays. You know, I like to look at it over a 10-game stretch or 15-game stretch and judge him by that. But we only have 3 games by the time we're doing this interview.
Yeah, exactly.
And we have something to look at. And listen, I think the fans have been starving for some skill here, and they've gotten that.
Yeah, for sure. Quickly, the goaltending. I know we're only 3 games in. Basically, what I was gonna, if you heard anything about like Kolosov, do you think he's gonna get a game? Because I heard he's got a month, and if he's not up, I don't know how true that is.
I don't know
he can
that
go
either.
back. That's what we were told.
I believe you.
Elliot said that, right? Elliot.
Elliot Friedman said it? Yeah, I believe you.
But I wonder.
He has the eligibility to go back if he wants to.
If he wants
doesn't
to.
like it here.
If he doesn't like it. But I just wondered. I think Sam's played great so far. I mean,
Fedotov plays again like he did in Calgary. Kolosov will get a game.
Yeah.
He can't have a goalie backing up like that. I'm sorry. Like, it's just plain English to me. I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah.
You got to be better than that.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. I mean, it looked like he's very unorthodox. And like last year, I understood when he came in and he had like basically, from what I heard, pads out of the box.
Right.
Playing that night.
Yes.
That's not fair. So I give him, and it was pretty decent, all things considered.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, if you're a backup and you're gonna relieve the goalie that did the job, got you the win the night before, you got to be significantly better than that. So that tells me that, you know, if they didn't want Kolosov and they said, oh, whatever, he's going to bitch and complain, just stay home. No, they want him over here to see what's there.
Right.
And we'll see how that development looks. But he's going to have to play good. I think clearly someone told him, like, it's not like the Flyers have 2 goalies that are 1 and 1A.
Right.
Like, there's room for you over there. If you shine, you'll get your chance. And that's what I have to believe is the story going around right now.
Yeah. And I agree. And that's why we never understood, like, why you'd have such a hard stance there, knowing the goalie situation, right? To your point, it wasn't 1A, right? I mean, so
it's pretty wide open.
Right, yeah. So you'd think that you'd come back with a chip on your shoulder and the right attitude, you'd come earn a spot. But, well, here we are. I mean, you know, he's back.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
and maybe
exactly.
Fedotov maybe has a better game next game.
Well,
yeah.
You know, but I mean, the other night, like, that was substandard.
Right.
And you know, and you need your goalie, your backup, to have a good game sometimes to get you that road win.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
for sure. Gonna throw out a little. Baller showed me a tweet earlier that happened last night with the Anaheim game. Cutter Gauthier, and I know we're gonna get into that for a second, but Derek Lee from the Hockey News tweeted he was put on the 4th line and taken off the power play. Just wondering.
Is he going to stay there?
Well, that was my question. Is he asking for a trade? That's what I said to Baller. Is he asking for a trade? But yeah, I kind of got a chuckle out of that one.
This guy got me in more fucking trouble last year on our podcast.
I was teeing you up
for doing nothing.
Right.
For basically reporting the news we got.
Right.
You know, it pissed off John and the coach. He came after Anthony. We don't make shit up. You know that.
Right.
Riley, you know that. We were informed of that there was a possibility that a player in the league may have had his hand in talking to a younger guy about a disconnect and a discontent situation in Philadelphia that he may have had.
Right.
And we know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
To me, it was the biggest bullshit story ever.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, we didn't make it up. Anthony got that from somebody very influential and important to the team. And he reported it. I didn't realize at the time how pissed off the kid was about not being given a game at the end of the year.
Right.
Yeah.
That sounds like what it came down to.
Yeah.
Listen, you can do whatever you want, and people say it all the time. But I don't think that's the way to do business.
Right.
And as for Torts and his thing with Anthony, that was wrong too. On many levels. Anthony's reporting the news. Some people could say, well, Anthony could have taken that and did what he wanted with it and concealed it too. Well, that wouldn't have made for a good story then, would it have? You know what, guys? I find it funny. I mean, kids in this league now, I want to say, like, I have kids that are all like from 17 to 25, and I like to think they're respectful. But for me, Riley, and I know the same thing for you, when I got drafted by the Flyers, and if I had been drafted by a team in Timbuktu and they were in the NHL, it would have been my great honor to play no matter
100%.
who that team was in the
Right.
NHL just to get a game. But now there's an entitlement.
it is an
Guys
entitlement.
decide that they fucking think that they're more important than the team. And I will commend Danny and Jonesy for saying, listen, if he doesn't want to be here, get him the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And they did. There's going to be, rightfully so, there's going to be a forever judgment on that trade. What that means to the both teams. You get Drysdale here for Gauthier. And they'll be judged for that, over time.
Yeah.
So I think this is an opportunity for Drysdale too to show who he is. That number one power play defenseman.
Keep him healthy.
Got to keep him healthy, and that's been an issue. That's been an issue.
Sure.
So, but again, I like the fact that they weren't going to placate the player in this situation. If you don't want to be here, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
And that's
right.
exactly what they did, and that's the way you have to have it. It's like almost like, hey, we're the Flyers, and we don't care. And that's kind of goes back to a little bit of what Ed Snyder's belief was, but you don't have time to go around in a situation like that. There was a lot of miscommunication and a lot of poor communication of what went on last year in that whole situation. And by no means at all did we want to have any kind of a gripe with the head coach.
Right.
He was misinformed or he was not informed at all of where that information came from, and he probably should have been. I think it would have cleared things up a lot faster.
Yeah, I don't think you'd had any issues then.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's too bad that went down the way it did.
Whatever.
It's
to me,
just-
it was like
it's-
some guy skating by the bench yapping at you.
Yeah, right. You just got to dust
and
it
you're like,
off, move on.
fuck you. Like, what are you going to do?
What are you gonna do?
Like,
Right, exactly.
Nothing you can do, And I hate talking like that, but I mean, it's the truth. Like, you're not going to win a war against John Tortorella in that setting. He's not going to apologize, and I'm sure the hell not, because we had nothing to apologize about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was there. That's one thing I can tell you. Like, I don't like drama like that, guys, at all. Like, I don't like little scoops, and I just want to talk about the game and the product on the ice and how guys can improve or get better. And I don't like that kind of stuff at all. And unfortunately, it ended up becoming a soap opera type of situation, and it's something I'd like to avoid, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, I mean, I don't even know what to say after that.
I understand. I understand.
Yeah.
I felt bad for Hazy, and I know we talked that night.
And I told you to apologize to him.
Yeah, oh no, I know.
Yeah, I said,
And,
listen,
I
we
did
didn't
right
do
away.
anything.
Right, and he understood. He understood, but I felt bad for him, and he was just like, yo, dude. I said, dude, it's fine. And then
I never had a problem with Kevin Hayes at all.
I know.
And we were never going there. Like, I know
exactly.
he's a great guy. He's loved by his teammates,
100%.
And I've been one of those guys in the room, and so no, I had nothing to do with that at all.
I know, yeah.
I think there was a lot of emotions, and I think there was a lot of the buck trying to get passed around.
Yeah,
to try to get it out of my hands.
Yeah.
And but hopefully, Kevin, you can tell him we didn't want to make sure he didn't carry that around for life.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
No, he understood.
I get it. Yeah,
He got it.
Certainly, he never was going to carry that around for life.
Right.
So,
No.
anyway.
So quickly, you were just talking about McDavid and next game, see what they do. Well, right now, Filip Gustavsson is outscoring him in the league with a goalie goal.
I was going to say,
And
David and Matthews.
No,
he scored last
he
night.
did score.
Right,
Yeah,
my bad.
Austin finally
Track
got
that.
one. So
he
they're
was a
tied.
beauty last
They're
night.
tied.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I love goalie goals, man.
Was there goalie goal already? I didn't see the highlights. Where you guys said I'm coming on. I gotta.
Yeah.
Oh, that's unbelievable.
Yeah. In the Minnesota versus St. Louis game, it was a power play goal. It's a power play goal. Shot it down. He gloves it. I'm sure Baller will throw up the highlight, and he fired it down. And the best was he skated by. You know how the boys go by the bench? He skated by the bench. Marc-Andre Fleury is hilarious. He's just smiling ear to ear. But it was cool. I was printing some shirts last night, and Elvis just starts losing it. Dad, get in here, get it, because Elvis the goalie. And I walk in, and they're all going nuts. He's like, a goalie goal, but it was awesome.
I've been on the ice for a goalie goal against.
Have you?
Yes, I have. I was on the ice. Yeah, you'll love this story. Brodeur sends a puck down the ice. Right, no. We're down a goal.
Yeah.
And Lankow somehow decides I forget how it happened. I have to get the clip. You can get the clip.
Yeah.
He goes back and gets the puck and starts skating up the boards, and I'm behind him. First of all, I don't even know what the fuck I was doing on the ice 6-on-5, unless there was maybe 2.5 minutes left and we pulled them early.
Yeah.
But I would have certainly been getting off for an offensive guy, right?
Right.
So Langkow decides he's going to skate up the ice and then drop the puck back to me. I wasn't even available for the pass, and he threw it in his own net.
No
And he gets to the bench, he's like, you are Lanker? He's like, what the fuck, man? I go, fuck you. I said, that was the worst pass I've ever seen. I said, and by the way, they should give you the assist on Brodeur's goal.
So Brodeur ended up
Brodeur ended up getting the
shot
goal.
it
He's the
down.
last guy to touch the puck on the Devils.
I was going to say there's been 18 goalies credited with a goal. 11 have actually shot it in.
Oh, really?
11 of them, so that was one that
That was one that was not shot in by the goalie, but didn't he end up getting one that he shot in, Baller?
Yes.
Did Brodeur
have a couple of them?
I thought he shot one or two in, yeah.
Hexy had a couple.
Yep. Yeah, Hexy had a playoff one. I remember
Impressive.
that.
He'd rip it.
He could rip it.
Yeah, you gotta love the old goalie goal.
Yeah.
What's that comparable to in?
God, I don't know.
You think
man.
like the Philly special, a quarterback catching a touchdown?
Maybe. Yeah, it doesn't happen a lot.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen a whole lot, but he's tied with,
tied
with Matthews for goals, for power play goals this year.
Before the game yesterday, I think Spit and Chicklets guys tweeted out that he has more goals than Austin Matthews and McDavid combined. They're making this big news.
Like it was big news.
And then obviously
It was pretty good.
And then you look at McDavid in the playoffs, right, where he gets 8 points in games 5 and 6.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right, like it's made it look like he was playing in pickup hockey, and
That's
it shows you though. Like I think Edmonton's a tired team right now,
Yeah.
but I think they might get going after that game.
Yeah, Chuck Knobloch seemed to, or Chris Knobloch, I call him Chuck.
Yeah.
He seemed to push all the right buttons last year. You know, he walked in there and they had lost a ton, and I'm sure
in
he'll
that
do
game
some-
the other day, like Draisaitl is not scratched,
Benched him
benched
for
a
a
couple
little bit.
times
Yeah, he
there,
did.
and then
He
all of a
threw him
sudden,
out there though when it counted.
Yeah, exactly. And then all of a
Yeah.
sudden he's like, all right, we're putting this guy back out there. And
That was a
it's
frustrating
changed.
overtime.
Yeah.
Because two of the Flyers spent more time complaining about the non-call that they thought the hook in front.
Oh, right, yeah.
And then for McDavid, then TK looked like he's like looking, going, well, it's McDavid, he's going to score. Well, he didn't, and then he gave up on the play. McDavid got his own rebound, put it out to Draisaitl, where any back chucker would have had it if you were
Right.
focused on not complaining to the refs. That was a frustrating overtime.
Yeah, that was, yeah.
It's crazy.
Talented guys, though. Yeah, man, I saw Matthews' goal last night. It looked like he lost the puck off his stick and then reclaimed it and snapped it.
Yeah, he could shoot it.
Yeah, not bad. Chiefs got them going pretty good.
Yeah, he does, and it's funny. I went with Chief being Chief, but I went with Neil Little. He's scouting with Montreal, so I took the drive up with him to Newark the other night when they played there. And Chief got his first win, and so typical Chief, as you know him. He comes out of the room. This is post game, and we're Neil and I are in the hallway. There's a bunch of guys around, and you know he's tucking his shirt all the time. He's got that. He comes walking out. He's talking his boys. Right away, he goes. He doesn't before he even says hi and hugs us. He's like, comes out. He's like tucking his shirt in, messing with his belt, you know. And he goes, boys. I said to Nylander the third, are you gonna try? You know, he's half kidding, but that's the shit he would say on the bench.
Yeah,
it was
but he's also
fucking hilarious when he would do it. And he's like, yeah, Chief, I'll try. I'll try. And then he says then he took a penalty, but he was trying too hard. I'm like, was he trying too hard or was he being lazy? I don't know.
He's the one guy, and I'll say this, I know a lot of guys that transition to either management or coaching that has never changed who he is.
Yeah,
Never
I agree
has.
with that.
Every other guy, and I mean every other guy, has done it except for Craig Berube.
Yeah, he's the same.
it's
He's
amazing to
so.
watch you.
Yeah. I've lost friends
Yeah,
that have gone to management that were my teammates where you're like completely
they
different.
change.
They're totally different. They think
Yeah.
they're all like entrepreneurs and stuff.
Yeah.
And Chief, nothing changes. I still call him. He still answers the phone
Oh,
the
yeah.
same way. It's like he's sitting right next to me on the bench again.
Same. We always kid around. Like I love when I'm talking to him on the phone, and he'll be like, "Boys," and it's just me and him. It's not like three of us. But you know how he always goes, "Boys," I'm telling you, and I just laugh every time he says it. But it was good to see him, and you're
Yeah.
right. He's got him playing, and it's funny. Like I don't have to tell you this, but it's funny when he went to St. Louis. I'm friends with the equipment guys, the trainers, and they're like, "Dude, you weren't kidding. This is the best guy
Best
I've ever
coach.
worked for."
Yeah.
I was there in Toronto, saw a couple of my buddies there, and they were just like, yo, you were right, man. I said, I told you you're going to love it. They're like, he's unreal. Like, he never, like, he stays here. He just stays himself,
Yep.
win or loss. Yeah, maybe he's pissed off 20 minutes after the game, and then it's he doesn't take it out on his staff.
That's right. Yeah.
He just everything he does is like you said. He's just never changed.
Yeah, and he just still you call him. I mean, the other night I didn't even realize that I was texting him 20 minutes before a game on Saturday night.
Oh yeah,
And he'll answer you back.
Oh yeah.
Like it's like, and I said, and I said to him, like, fuck, Chief. I actually sent a text. I didn't even realize you guys played. Good luck. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
Okay, bud. Thanks. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, that's
He's
just
awesome.
kind of simple he is,
Yeah.
I just started laughing. I wish I would have videoed him walking out.
You should have.
Shaking his head,
Oh, yeah.
tucking in his. It just makes me laugh. Bundy last night in Pitt. Well, Buffalo. Oh, Thompson Tage.
Oh, Thompson
He scored.
Tage.
No, but Lindy's back for he caught it. We were laughing a couple weeks ago. He said something like that. Lindy Ruff back his 7th stint as coach of Buffalo. Seems like his 7th.
Like, hey, guys, what do we do with a coach?
Lindy.
Get Lindy. Copy. Lindy, you want a job?
Yeah, he's back.
We got Lindy. He's back.
If it doesn't work out, Nolan's back in there.
You'll bring Teddy Nolan. They should actually get the two of them.
Get them together. But no, I'm sorry, Lindy. Just busted balls. But
Yeah, we are.
yeah, but they've not had the start they thought they were going to have. I think they're 1-4-1 or something like that. But
Weren't they supposed? This was the year, wasn't it?
well, I may have said that because I
that
thought
was
they were going to get in the
prediction.
playoffs. Now I'm like, wait a minute, did I really say that? But anyway, I was going to say they're a high scoring affair last night in Pittsburgh against them. But Sid picks up his 1600th point.
Yeah.
Guys
Malkin
still
got 500.
and he got his 500th goal. Just what those guys are unbelievable, man. And like Malkin's got 11 points in 5 games. I mean, I don't think he's going to keep that pace up. I know he's lost a step. He's getting older, but he still competes, man. Like it's crazy, dog. Like I don't know what you think about Pittsburgh. I don't know how much you've looked into them. I know you have to with what you do, but their best players are still these old guys. Like, what are they going to do in another 2 years when these guys can't? I mean, I don't think they're going to make playoffs. Maybe they do.
They've missed 2 years in a row.
I know. I don't know how they're going to get in, but maybe they do. But I just, you played against these guys, or you played against
Crosby.
Sid. Yeah, you played against Sid.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's part of that's one of the best parts of watching older players like that still care that much about the game.
Yeah.
Problem with Sid, I mean, listen, Sidney gave them a deal from unbelievable deal to try to help them out, and I'm sure he'll be a massive part of the future of that program too. When he retires, and ownership, I'm sure, and whatever else, because he's done them financial favors, but. Yeah, it's great to see, and even Malkin, just out there still competing. I think you see a lot of that. I think generations have changed in a lot of ways. People don't want to admit that, but I'm sorry, it has.
Yeah.
The players now are not the same as they were 20 years ago. It's not even close. I don't know if it was because of more teams, too many players. There's an entitlement, as I said. Sometimes, not all of them.
Right.
But I always felt like back then, like when a guy comes in to make the league, like there was just like, you were just in awe of the fact that you were going to be able to have an opportunity to play in the NHL.
Right.
So I think from watching guys like that, it's still pretty darn cool to see that and to see guys that care that much. Even a guy like Corey Perry.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, yeah. He's
like
39 years old.
Yeah, like he's out there. He's
whatever
competing the other night.
Yeah.
Yapping at guys still.
Yeah, still giving her.
It's having lost all those cups of late. He won one early in his career.
Yeah, right.
So you don't think of it like that because he's in a Hart Trophy winner. But it inspires me to say like, good man, because they're carrying the lifeblood of the league still.
Yeah, that's it.
And
really
until the new group, like I know there's a lot of skill with Matthews and McDavid, but there's something about that. Like they're making it on their skill rather than making it on their will.
Yeah.
And I always think the guys that made it on their will made for what was the greatest sport of all time.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you could bring a group of characters in. You can go out and bring a guy like Riley Cote in to bring a ton of energy on the bench. That's unique to a sport,
Right.
To be able to do that, to have Craig Berube to do that, to have a fisticuff or to lift your bench up or to see someone take a hit or give a hit, to score a big goal when you're not supposed to score a goal.
Right.
So those are the things, the intangibles, I think, that made hockey so great.
Yeah.
And so much fun.
That's the truth. It's definitely a little different animal now.
Oh, it is. Yeah, but I do agree. Like seeing some of these now older players still having success and bringing and just seeing the professionalism in them, right, and why they are still
future Hall of Famers.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Is because
there's a few of those guys.
Yeah,
too.
there is. Yeah.
Yeah, even Tampa's got like some of those guys still too. They've been around a little, not as long as Crosby and them, but they've won and they have pride in themselves and Yeah, there's still a lot of great to this league. It's early in the season. I hate early season hockey.
Yeah, it's funny because like we gave our like picks or who we think, and I was talking about Tampa. I think they've been rolling. I was like, I don't know if they're gonna be able to do it. And then Kucherov's got about 50 points. Yeah, he's 4 games.
They're playing well. But again, who do you say? Like, look at Calgary.
Yeah, 4-0. I mean,
like that's not like I don't see them staying there at that pace they're going at.
I know. I don't either.
And Vancouver's maybe better than they are. Maybe they're not.
Yeah, true.
I don't know. There's a few teams you wonder about. Like, but who are like the top heavy teams in the NHL right now? Like you could say before, it's probably still Vegas, Dallas. I think is very good. Florida.
Yeah.
And I think Toronto I really think Chief will find a way to push them forward.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, I definitely believe that. I don't know if you were able to see the other night, Dog. In Columbus, they had that
was awesome.
Special. I just thought the Blue Jackets did an unbelievable job of that from starting with the Panthers walking off their bus. I know it was Kachuk's idea with Skittles and grape Gatorade that Johnny used to love it, and from the banner, just the whole thing, the jerseys and the 13 seconds, and just all of it. It's still heartbreaking to me, knowing him since he was young, and also Matty kind of gets lost, his brother Matty. But I worked with Matty the last 2.5 years, very closely, and it's just a heartbreaking thing. We've all dealt with these kind of things, but this was just crazy. But I thought they did an unbelievable job the other night with that.
The whole situation is just beyond anything you could ever prepare yourself for. I know Guy. I coached games with Guy before of my son. He just would come out to coach because he loved being around kids.
Right.
And so he took the offense. I took the defense. I gave him the bench. His whole choice call was the last call. But so senseless.
Yeah.
So avoidable.
Right.
I don't even know. My heart breaks like for that whole family, and it will forever. I'll forever have Guy Gaudreau and that family in my hearts.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, to see some of the tributes that have poured in, both individually from people and players the last couple months, to that the other night in Columbus, I watched that where it started off with Johnny talking and showing little videos of him, his kids with his dad and his brother. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Sure. You shouldn't be gone. But hopefully some good comes of this. I hope those little babies born bring some peace and harmony to that family. Yeah. A sad day in the NHL, but some amazing tributes by the league and by the players to carry that memory of Johnny Gaudreau and his brother. And you know what? I think some of them have done a good job of keeping Matthew there too.
Right.
With Johnny,
for sure.
The two of them together. And I think that's been pretty special. But I can't imagine, guys, what that's like. And
I don't want to.
My heart is just crushed still thinking about it. It makes me sick still.
Yeah. I'm at Hollydale every day almost.
Yeah.
So, they have some great things up in there, and it's just, God, just walk by it every day. And
is his dad in it all, Derek?
He's been so busy. Like, I thought it was cool Columbus had him on the ice as well, just like the Flyers did. I have not seen him. They did do a tribute night for the Rebels home opener.
I saw that,
and he was there, but, he was still, it's just, I don't know how you can deal with it. We're all fathers, and it just kills me to see him the way he is. And I was talking with Justin Hale a couple weeks ago, just talking about Matty and just telling some fun stories. We remember just laughing. Like I said, I worked with him the last couple of years, and just a great guy. And those two were so close. Him and Johnny, it was just like phone calls going back and forth on the bus, like just always. But they'll both be missed, and like you said, the league and the teams that have paid tribute have been awesome. And I thought it was cool that Monahan, got that goal, and Baller had a picture, video as well, him pointing up to that banner. Man, it had to be really hard on him because I know they were really close.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of guys lost a good friend and family member and stuff, and they'll be in people's prayers for a long time. And I'm really, really curious to see those new babies when they're born.
Yeah, I know.
I have a feeling they're going to be pretty special little people.
Speaking of Buffalo, Dog, the Dahlin hip check on Krebs the other day, and then we had a little Tilly. I didn't see Lindy jumping in there. He said, "Boys will be boys."
Just let them
How many
handle
times
themselves.
you see that back in the day? You don't see it as much.
The old hip
but-
check.
Well, or
practice.
fights in practice.
Oh, yeah.
You've seen quite a few.
I saw a few. Yeah, it used to happen. And that was like just because you get two guys pissed off.
Yeah.
And sometimes it was good, right? We always heard like, it's always a good thing to have a fight in practice.
Yeah.
Once in a while.
Yeah, right.
I remember one year Chris McAllister hit like Dan McGillis. Remember that?
I know exactly what you're going to
And
say.
then
Yeah.
Primo jumped in. He had to fight McAllister in training camp. And he shattered McAllister's nose. McAllister had to wear a thing like through it to breathe through, and he was a tough character.
He was
Primo
tough.
was tough.
Big. Yeah,
Yeah, he
Primo
was tougher
tough.
because he didn't fight because he was a player a lot, but when he did, it was
Yeah.
like, oh boy. But
Those long ass
yeah,
arms.
right.
He had those
Big
arms that hung
man.
down to his ankles,
I know,
right?
man. He's like Johnny
Yeah.
Leclerc arms.
yeah, he did. But it doesn't happen a lot, but boys will be boys.
Yeah,
That's what he said.
Oh, yeah.
Lindy. But he had a regular
But
hat
you also
on.
don't see like submarine hip checks in Pracky very often.
They-
either.
Not
It's
not
like-
on your own guy.
They
No,
said
not
the
your own
story
guys.
was he had gotten
high
his stick up
right.
high or something, and
still, it's pretty
Yeah.
like.
he wanted to hit him.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
didn't
it's,
have
it's
to.
kind of like
He hip-checked
unnecessary.
Buffalo's real and kind of like, yeah, it's kind of weird. Like, we were saying, like, we were closing up. I'm trying to think of like a team that I think is going to take a step forward this year, like in terms of a Stanley Cup type of prediction. But everybody every year says this is the year for Buffalo, but it's just never the year.
It's never the year.
It's never the year, and they make trades. They get guys in. They actually look good on paper.
Yeah.
And listen, it's a long season, right?
Yeah,
they go win 9 in a row
Right.
in the next 3 weeks, and all of a sudden you're not talking about it. And that could happen, right? You're like, oh, look at Buffalo. They're 9-4.
And then you're extending Lindy's contract.
He's getting an
He's got an
extension.
Right. Lindy,
Sorry, Ted. Ted, you're not coming in.
No, they're bringing Ted in too. Then we give him an extension. Bring Ted in.
Associate.
Yeah, associate head coach. I didn't even look, actually. I
It's
usually
like
pay
Buffalo. They
attention.
bring back Marv Levy if they have to.
God, I didn't even look to see who his assistants are. Usually I like pay attention to that. I actually didn't even see who his
My first
assistants
year.
are.
We traded for Peter Swoboda, right?
Yeah.
And we traded Gary Galley for him. And Swoboda would be like, he was very blunt.
Oh,
The Czech
yeah.
Republic. So he got in there. I said, hey, nice to meet you, Chris Therien. And we got talking. I said, how is Buffalo? He goes, what a fucking city of losers, man. He goes, that fucking town can't win nothing. It's losers. One fucking loser after another. He goes, thank God I'm out of that shithole. And I'm like, all right, man. Sounds good.
Tell me how you really feel. Tell me how you really feel, Pete.
So I ask him about like different cities and all that.
Oh, my
What
God.
a city of losers that is.
How about that story Jake told us when he's supposed to be helping out with the Czech team over, like, before the World Cup, I think, or maybe World Championships. This fucker's in L.A., and they're calling him, you're late. Yeah, I'm in traffic. I'm on my way. He was in L.A. Team's in Czech fucking practice. Like, they don't know he's in L.A.? Like, what
It's the
the
best, right? He's tell a million stories. I mean,
Oh,
it's
my
just
God, he was
some of the
funny.
stories that go back. But, yeah, Buffalo probably would have loved to have heard that.
Yeah,
The town of Buffalo. I mean, and of course he's going. That was in the 90s, right? So, you're fresh off the Four Falls of Buffalo.
Yeah,
And then-
exactly.
And then they got their doors blown off a couple of years before that in the playoffs. So
Yeah. Oh man, fucking Pete. He was funny.
yeah, there's
man.
some funny
God,
guys. Yeah,
a
he was
funny guy.
one of he was the most Canadian, like North American of all the Europeans I ever played with.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was.
And
You
he was
think
a
that's
kid when
because
he
he
got-
was in Montreal first?
He was he was a first round pick.
Yeah,
He went to Montreal. He was there in like 80. They won in 86.
right.
So he was there when they won that.
Yeah.
And I mean he grew up pretty fast here, and I think just being in like Montreal probably helped him grow up pretty quick.
Yeah, I remember the one night. Why can't I think of that guy's name to hit him with the elbow?
Mark Bureau.
Bureau, and then he came here. And then
Mark
we
Bureau
had,
came here, and then
we had him.
McTavish had to go after him.
He hit him with a. I mean, it was
chicken
it
wing?
was big time, and I just remember seeing like I feel like I saw blood like coming out of his ear, and but he was bleeding anyway. He was out cold. I mean,
He was
it
out
was
cold.
one of those like yeah, it was bad.
So Swoboda
Baller
got
could
hit.
probably
He used
find
to
it.
get hit, put himself in some vulnerable
Oh, yeah.
position sometimes. Yeah, it was crazy.
He would. He
really
would.
did.
He took a licking.
Hell of a player though, competitive. Yeah,
competitive
he was a
guy.
gamer.
So needless to say, you're excited for Saturday.
I am. Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty cool. I know that there's going to be some, it's going to be a good crowd. They want to see the new toy Michkov. And listen, the beginning of the year is always great. Last year, we're kind of mired by a Phillies baseball run a little bit, and it kind of knocked down the crowd, I think, early. But I think the crowd grew last year. I think the culture returned.
Yeah, I agree.
Which something like, I know people say it doesn't mean I want to win, but you want to win with the culture that was been in place here since 1967. And people can say, well, that's bullshit. No, it's not bullshit. It's very real. And so when you win and you're all in the same bus driving the same direction,
that's
it makes it more special. And you guys are very much part of that too. I saw you have Dan Hilferty on 3 weeks ago.
Awesome.
So it's a great guy. He's a great man. He cares a lot, and he understands the value of every person around the team that supports the team, that talks about the team. He's a special guy, and I'll be honest with you, he's very much the embodiment of Ed Snyder.
Yeah, that's what we thought too.
He very, very much so, and so it's pretty cool, and so culture is returned. All we're waiting for now is to get the product up with the wins on a regular basis, and this team will return itself to glory and find a way to hopefully have that parade on Broad Street that's been so long missed.
Yeah, you brought up a great point. Like some people are like, oh, Flyers people. Well, you did it without Flyers people, and you saw where we went, in the toilet almost.
That was one of the most fucked up eras in Flyer history. Like, I don't know what to say about
anyone
it.
Anyone can tell you that. Yeah, anyone can tell you that.
Every single person that works there now that still was there, they'll talk about that era as the most pathetic in the history of the franchise. And that can never happen again.
No.
Yeah, it's unacceptable.
You have to have, there's people that just like throw bait out there to get people wound up, but you have to understand this organization. Especially if you were in it in any way, like I don't care, marketing or a player, you need Flyer people that understand 100%. That culture, and it's very, very important.
Yeah, and in this community, and like in Riley, I mean, the spirit of the physicality of this town, right? And what it means, and you're never going to get back to that 1970s and 80s type of physicality, but there's a deep connection to the city this team has, and it really was started by those guys that won those cups early, and there was a real connection to the community by the players, and they lost that.
Right.
And that's where they had to regroup and say, we need to get this back.
Yep.
And they did. They did. It took a year to do it, but they did it. And so that goodwill that is back, they can never lose that again.
Right.
The Flyers are too important to the fans in the city to become irrelevant. Right. We can live with bad. Right? You're going to have years where your team's not good. And they've been going through some stretches here where it hasn't been as good as it was previously. But you cannot, in the process, and I think I said it, you can be a bad team, but you cannot devolve into a bad organization.
That's right.
And in that part of the history of this franchise, they were getting there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They were getting there.
It was close.
They're back on track.
Back on track.
And everything's new. And you know what? And sometimes it takes someone to have the courage to change things. But I don't think it required a lot. I think it just required a hug. A big hug between the fans and the team and saying, like, we're trying. We're going to try. We have hockey people in here. Believe in us. Give us an opportunity. Listen to the people that we bring in. Listen to our radio, our TV, our podcasts that are trying to talk and tell a good story.
Right.
And it does take time. The one thing I think that you guys do and that we do as well, totally brutally honest. Yeah. I will never lie to the fans. If this team is not what I think it's going to be at the 41 game mark halfway, I'm going to tell you. It may hurt some feelings. Yeah. But I'm going to be honest. If this team is doing amazing and maybe they aren't where they are in the standings, but they're playing great, that tells me they're on the cusp of something. Right. And they're still building, But there's a different side. And I'm always going to be honest. And that's why I think that's probably why I'm doing a podcast now, guys, and I'm not doing TV or radio.
Yeah, right. You're too honest for TV.
You just can't be, you got to lie.
That's it.
Yeah.
And I don't lie. I can't do that. I have to tell the fans what this team is and who they are because people spend money. Right. And if you keep that was the one thing the last regime did that I hated. They kept, Chuck, we're coming. The team, we're going to be a good team. You're not. You weren't. No. You bullshitted people. You lied to them. And I didn't like that a little bit. Right. At least now saying, hey, we're rebuilding. We're trying. We think we're getting pieces that we need to make this look it's a sustainable project where we have a team that we think can win a Stanley Cup for a 6-year stretch. That's what you want.
Right.
It's hard to go past that. But that's what this team is trying to get to, in my belief, and that's how you do it. And they're doing it the right way.
Yeah, I agree.
Agreed. Exciting times. Looking forward to Saturday.
Sure
I
is.
know.
We'll be there.
Yeah,
Got a
can't
little
wait. I'm
tailgate
gonna be there.
action.
Yeah.
Come early. Join us.
Yeah, you guys
Got a
doing a
little
show down
sauce
there?
kit. Yeah, no, we're just having a little tailgate. Like,
Oh, really? Where,
people
let
just
me,
hang
let
out.
me know where that's at.
G-Lot. G-Lot, the dog.
Yeah, let me know where
The
that's
dog.
at. I'm going to be over there a little bit early that
All right,
day,
yeah,
too.
come by and
so,
see
yeah,
us.
I'd
We're at the
love to come
G-Lot. I
and
think
see
it's
you guys.
right beside Xfinity, isn't
We're
it?
doing a
Yeah.
tailgate this year, too, so we'll
Are you?
put you on there.
Oh,
we should do a
nice.
crossover show sometime.
do it.
Yeah, let's do
Yeah,
it.
we should do one. Yeah,
Break it down.
Oh, did you go to Anthony's wedding?
I did.
Did you see Russ dancing? Because I saw a lot of video.
Russ was 2 sheets to the wind. It's one of those ones where you look where I'm sitting there at the table, relaxed, an elder statesman, and I'm just watching him like this, right? I'm like,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking to myself, thank fucking God I put the bottle down.
He's in one, boys.
He was overserved.
Oh, was he?
Yeah,
Was he?
Yeah.
Well, he had the green light.
Hey, he had the green light.
He had the
He
green
was
light,
having
yeah.
some fun.
That's
Having
it.
some fun.
But we had a good
I
time,
saw
and,
that on your pod. I
I
was
love
laughing.
both those guys. They're good.
Yeah.
We have a great time together.
Yeah.
Good chemistry, like you guys have too. So
Yeah, you can tell.
So we have a lot of fun. Yeah,
That's
good
awesome.
stuff.
Stuff.
All right, dog. Can't thank you enough, man.
Thank you guys.
Your thoughts on everything, and maybe you can swing by the tailgate.
I'd love to.
Say
I'm
hi.
now that I know it's on.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
We'll be
going
there.
to try to. I'm going to get over there earlier anyway. I think for
Yeah.
the opener that night because it gets busy and everybody's doing their test runs and the
Yeah.
first couple
Yeah,
games of
that's
the year.
true.
There's always people that have those great new brilliant ideas in the summer.
Yeah, right.
And they want to make sure that they implore those for the first game. And
Yeah.
you're like,
Make
this
sure
is just getting in the way of everything. But that's why. So you're going to be at G-Lot. I'll get the information.
Yeah,
from you
I'll
the next
message
day.
you, buddy.
Sounds good, guys.
All right, thank
Appreciate
you
you
again,
both.
man.
Thanks,
Love
Bundy.
you guys.
You're the
Appreciate
man.
it.
Love you too, brother.
All right, big thank you to Bundy,
The
Chris
dog.
Therien, the dog.
The dog, as we call each other, dog. It's so funny. I get texts, it's like, yo, dog, yo, dog. But yeah, man, awesome guy. Knows a lot about the game.
He does.
Known
Watched
him
a
a
lot of hockey.
long time. 30 years I've known Bundy. So good dude, friend of the show.
Yeah.
Appreciate him coming on and giving his insights. He tells it how it is.
He does.
is
He
not
appreciate that.
afraid to give you, and that's what you should do.
Yeah, no, for
Realistically.
sure. Not afraid to hold back. That's
Nope.
for sure.
Nope. He's a funny bastard.
He
too.
is, he is.
is funny. But thanks a lot to Chris Therien, Bundy, the dog. Riles, you know what time it is?
Oh, I think I do.
Do you? I know what time it's going to be Saturday, 4 o'clock, tailgate
Same
with some
time?
some clear questions.
Oh yeah.
It's time for clear questions.
Oh yeah. Let's
Brought
go.
to you by Klyr Rum. Go to klyrrum.com/shop. Type in Nasty 2023 and get 35% off of your order. PA residents only. And I want some of the iced tea. I want the new stuff. Better be delivered.
Should be getting a special delivery today or
Oh,
tomorrow.
I love special delibs.
Oh yeah, you do.
Do I ever? Baller, what do you got?
What's up, boys? We have one this week. This one is from Mark over on Twitter, Hexy2727. He says, our young guys have been taking too many hits, in my opinion. Is it time for the Flyers to start dressing Delorier to let teams know not to mess with the young guys?
Well, I would imagine D'Lo's a little frustrated he hasn't played a game
I would say
yet.
so.
Maybe he plays in the next game. I think you have to be team tough. I think with him in a lineup, you're definitely a tougher team, obviously. I also think that a couple of the guys stepped up in these situations.
They did.
You know, Tyson Forrester
Right.
fault, Beezer fault,
Yeah.
Perry,
Why is
Coots
that?
stepped in. So I think I think it's one of the things that we really like about this team and this group, the way you could tell they're a tight-knit group, right? Do I think Delorier helps? Yes, 100%. I just think maybe unless another team has a big-time guy that can handle business, because you have to be able to play, and I think Nick can play.
Oh, yeah,
I don't
can
think
buzz in a
he
straight
ever
line.
hurts the team
No,
when he's
never.
in. So it's tough because me personally, I would like to see him in the lineup. I guess it's just, you're juggling some extra pieces there. Obviously, Riley, this is what you did. It's a little bit different game now. But what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I was Nick Delorier at this,
Yeah.
4 games in the season, 3 games into the season here now. And, I'm not sure that there was that many blow-ups or, big hits.
Right.
That you would need to put him in the lineup. Yeah, there was a couple, Drysdale got blown up and, a few others, but I'm not sure it's anything out of the ordinary.
Right.
And I understand the question, understand the concern, especially being a guy having that role. From my perspective, if I was Deloitte, I'd be like, yeah, put me in because I'm going to, take care of business. I get it. But I also, I think the game's changed so much that unless there is a guy or a situation scenario that played out before that needs to be addressed, that you'd for sure have to have him in the lineup,
right?
For that storyline, he'd be in the lineup. But I'm just not sure there was enough of that and taking liberties on players that would, make the coaching staff decide we absolutely have to have him in the lineup. That being said, would I like to see him in the lineup? For sure. I mean, home opener this Saturday that'd be great. Would be great to see him buzzing around and get that energy back up and he might be, who knows, but I'm not sure the in the 3 games and then 4 tonight that we don't know yet, but that it's warranted having to suit up a guy like Nick Deslauriers specifically to address these concerns, but but also he's a Philly fan. We appreciate where your heart's at, and that's that's the way we see it too. Is that if a guy's getting banged around a little bit, you have a guy like that that's sitting on the sidelines. But the game's changed so much, as we've always talked about, and I'm not sure. Like you said, team toughness. You got guys can handle kind of some of these situations on their own, and if there was,
and it's good to see.
It is amazing. Talk about team bonding and building and glue.
It wasn't heavyweights going at it, but it's guys pissed off and sticking up for teammates. And I was kind of laughing because you could tell Perry was trying to goat Joel Farabee into a fight, and I think Beezer was like, okay, just line up,
exactly.
and then they went at it. And I thought Perry actually kind of jumped at him. I'm like, were you afraid of him, Paradog? I don't know, but Beezer held his own there against a wily veteran. He's been in a lot of scraps, and we know, as Beezer said on the show, he loves that part of the game. But you like to see that team toughness and them sticking together. And I was watching Boston and Florida and the other night, and there was a few scraps in that one. I like when the game's played like that with heart and you pissed off.
Yeah, right.
You play a game, but I know they're not all going to be like that, but it's nice to see when guys do step up and take up for one another and do all that stuff. But in the end, would we like to see D'Lo in? I would.
Yeah.
I love when he's in the lineup, so we'll see.
Yeah, we will see.
I'd add, it's a good problem to have a complete different player than D'Lo, Noah Cates. Even he's only played one game. He's been healthy scratch too.
True.
So it's a good problem to have. You have 14 NHL caliber forwards. We'll see what happens with Jett over the next couple of weeks. But even a guy like Noah Cates isn't really playing much, and I would say he could be in most NHL teams.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, they got some depth there, right? And
that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing.
Like you said, it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, and that was a good point too. Mentioning Jett, because we don't know, but this could be temporary, and then all of a sudden that 14 man forward unit is now 13,
right?
And then everything kind of changes overnight. But we don't know that either. So it is what it is for now. Yeah, things are shaking itself out. It's generally what happens at the start of the season, and time will tell.
We'll see.
Great question.
Thank you, though.
Yeah, appreciate
the question.
That. And that's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
One question, one solid question.
One solid.
I'm excited.
There
for
might
Saturday.
be a few questions Saturday.
Yeah.
Coming your way.
Coming my way, yeah. I'm excited for Saturday.
I am too. I can't wait. Baller said he's just going to be ready to roll.
Sun is shining.
Little sauce kit, maybe.
Oh, definitely sauce kit.
Got to do
Some
it.
drums.
Show the middies.
I don't have any.
Oh, you got middies. We'll see.
Well, we will see.
Me and you one-on-one.
You want to do it?
I'll do it.
All right. Look forward to it. 176 in the books, Nas.
Yes, sir.
Can't wait for 177. Appreciate you all supporting the pod. Be sure to continue to subscribe, like, comment, and ask us anything.
And if you want us to come do a live show, let us know.
Let us know. Nasty's ready.
I'm ready.
Guys, bags packed.
I'm ready.
All right, till next week. Stay safe, knuckleheads.
See ya.